Hey guys, Happy New Year. We are officially off to a new year here. New year of trading, new month of trading, not a new week of trading though. So let's see how the month starts. To close out the year, we had those 4 red days in a row, which is actually quite impressive. We would have thought maybe the bulls could have kept pushing. So as of right now, it appears the Santa Claus rally will not be happening, which is interesting to say the least. So we'll see what happens over the next 2 days. Supposedly the first 2 trading days of the year are included in the Santa rally. So that would give us today and then Monday to be included in the Santa rally. So we'll see how that kind of plays out here or not if it doesn't play out. Right now, overnight, we've had a pretty nice run up. NQ's up almost 1%. ES is up about 0.5%. So very nice run overnight to kind of push up here. Basically, we recovered, at least on NQ, all of, what's today? So all of Wednesdays. It does not feel like a Friday, man. My days are all messed up. All week, or yesterday, I thought it was the weekend, but today is Friday. So all of Wednesday's loss has been recovered on NQ. ES, we're sitting about 50%, maybe now 75% of that loss recovered. So kind of an interesting spot here where, we could see a big breakout. We could see the breakout back to 25,870 and 69.80 area. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if volume comes back in. However, the last 2 trading days, all the bullishness, which we saw on Friday, that we had that big bounce off EMA support, was given up almost immediately. So is the bears going to go for 5 red days and a 3rd sell-off in a row? I don't know. We'll see here. We'll see how it kind of plays out. One thing that's interesting to me is the VIX is only down 1.4% right now. It was down a lot less earlier. It was down about 1% about, 30 minutes to an hour ago. So it's interesting that despite an almost 1% pop in NQ, we're not really seeing that downside move on VIX. Again, it is at some historical lows, so it won't go a ton maybe. But I would have thought the VIX would have been down more like 5 to 10% if we're seeing such a big pop here. Another interesting thing is on VX, we're actually pushing higher while VIX is falling. So we already have divergence between VX and VIX there. So basically to start the morning out here, kind of what I'm watching is we have a really nice resistance area from 69.29 to 69.37. And then from 25,694 to 25,703 is a small resistance area with our big overnight resistance area from 25,728 to 25,736. Support-wise, we have 69.19 to 69.22 with a bigger drop down to 6,900 to 6,903. NQ has a bigger support area of 25,589 to 25,632. So same thing here, unless we get some crazy strong buyers or sellers or big, huge push, pump, dump on VIX, I expect mean reversion, and I think that's the way we play it again today, is to not expect strong major continuation, but expect, those pushes that get retraced, and then that's when we execute our plays. So we'll see kind of what today brings. Well, it looks like we're going for the big push there right at open, right through our lower resistance area. Now again, VX is pushing. So like I said, there's some definite divergence here on VX and VIX. So VX is still pushing up. VIX has not technically opened yet. It appears to be frozen. So this is where I was saying that 69.29 to 69.37 and 25.728 to 25.736 is our resistance area to watch. And that's pretty much where we touched and where we're rejecting. So again, I think we need to wait, kind of see if we can bring aggressive buyers in. If VX and VIX are both going to push down, kind of what this is going to play out here. Again, this could end up in a major rejection. If you look at ES right now, you're starting to see it actually play out. But again, tough here because we're now seeing ES and NQ divergence. One other kind of weird thing to throw into the mix here too is that ES and NQ on the daily have stronger sellers. So again, with us being up over 1% now on NQ, you would not expect to see stronger sellers. You would expect to see at least weaker sellers, if not buyers. So again, a lot of divergence, a lot of miscommunication here. So patience will be key. I want to see where this opening candle goes, maybe the opening 15-minute candle, and see if we can get a play. Right now, ES is saying the downside is the play, but we got to watch NQ and see if that's going to agree or not. So there's that big rejection on ES. NQ now also rejecting. So ES is now trying. VX and VIX are both going for a big pop here. ES is now trying to break through 69.20, and NQ is breaking through its 25.675. So that kind of sets us up for a potential move down to 6900 to 6903, and 25.622 to 632 area. So again, it looks like we could see the third day in a row of failed bullishness in this market. So very interested to see if this candle continues lower. This is not a candle I want to be in on. I will look for this 5-minute candle to close, potentially consider to back some sort of mean reversion up a little bit higher, and then likely I will look at a short if the move looks good. All right, so we got about a minute to close here. A level I'd like to see us closed under is 69.19 and 25.675. Closing under those would generally give me a bearish move of continuation if VX and VIX don't reject, and if these sellers come in a little bit more aggressive here. So again, we are sitting basically at pre-market level of buying and sellers. So as you're seeing right here, these moves can be erased pretty quickly, and that's a very big concern when you're in a play. Obviously, is if the move is going to get bought back up first before it hits your level. Also, with this ginormous wick to both sides now, it makes it difficult to have a good base of where your stop loss might be. So. As of right now, it does look like 694 to 703 is holding as resistance. That could have been our short entry. I want to see if maybe we can come back up one more time to 694 before going lower, but ES is breaking its low already. So we might just see a decent drop here, actually. VX and VIX are still going. All right, I'll take the bite.
Order submitted. Order filled.
All right, I went ahead and took a short. Let's see if we get some continuation. NQ is getting the continuation. Again, I think 6,900 to 6,903 and 623 to 632 is our target.
Stop filled.
All right, so they failed to push lower, got stopped out there. All right, so we're still testing 694 to 704. I don't really see a reason to be bullish here as we're rejecting the EMAs. We might have just got hunted before this move actually plays out here.
Order submit. Order filled.
Okay, I went back in on this short here.
Stop filled.
Okay. Did not play out once again. Well, now we have to start considering if this is going to push up. Now, again, they might just make us wait for this 5-minute candle to close before they double top us lower. We're clearly rejecting the EMAs here. We're clearly rejecting supply. I think we're just getting hunted, unfortunately.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm trying one more time on this short. Again, same still target here, 6,900 and 623 area. We have sellers, VX and VIX are pushing up. We're still rejecting the EMAs. Let's see if we can get some strong continuation lower here on this next candle.
Stop filled.
Okay, so I took 20 points there. Or 15 points there. So we did break through ORB support here, so there is a potential another short opportunity actually. We do have some great sellers coming in. VX is pushing, VIX is pushing, ES is dumping.
Order filled.
All right, we're back in the short again. It does look like ES is obviously weaker than NQ. NQ is trying to hold more bullish. They almost tagged our stop loss there. Hopefully we just survive the drawdown and now this is going to drop. But it looks like they might now, try to take this back up to 675. We do still have sellers. Big wick though here on the 15-minute candle. We closed under ORB. I generally like the downside. I think again, it's looking like we got hunted. By 2 points there to be exact. Interesting divergence here. This is actually why gap ups are generally my absolute least favorite type of days to trade, because this is kind of what you get where you just never know what direction they're actually going to want to play it. Would appear as of now, we're still rejecting the EMAs and the resistance. We do have PMI data here in a minute now. So, I mean, really, if you look at MQ, it's basically stuck between 704 and 675. ES, however, broke through support. So ES, again, is showing downside. Okay, here comes our data. Testing once again, 704 area. Once again, another potential rejection area here. It still looks like they're going to try to reject this and sell this back down. ES is already starting to play it out. NQ wants to play it out. It's a tough move here. Because they could, again, this is obviously on NQ pushing up pretty easily, so they could push this back to 734 area first, but it doesn't look too bad for a rejection here. ES is playing out the rejection already. I'm just worried that NQ might push higher first, and a short would probably get stopped out first, which makes it even more difficult to get in when you're already down. All right, I took it.
Order filled. Stop filled.
Wow. NQ with no chill to the downside. And geez. All right, well, now we are at 730. Wow, where is this going? Jeez. Sheesh.
Order filled.
All right, let's run it out. Let's see where we go. See if we can get a huge pop here. Well, 810 and 836 would now be the next big upside moves to watch if this can continue. VX and VIX just got huge rejected. We did just bring in aggressive buyers. 775 is the kind of level to be careful at here. If we can clear 775, we should have a pretty clear move to 811. See if bulls can push up here or not, or if we're going to get rejected. Hopefully not, because I'm going to stop down to 734 first. I'd obviously like to see them push back for 775, and it does look like that's what they're going to do. Whoa.
Stop filled.
The heck was it?
Stop filled. Stop filled.
Okay. Well, some of my orders got filled, some of them didn't, but that was weird. My lucid orders got absolutely screwed there on slippage, but our MUFA did okay. That was a weird candle. Yeah, so my Lucid got stopped out at 17 points, and my MUFID, or my funded futures, they got stopped out at 35 points there. So definitely some big divergence there. That was goofy. Big wiki rejection now. Let's see. There's too much buyers to justify a short here, and obviously pressure is to the upside. So maybe we can get a retest off 734 and then take another long here. Okay, here's 735, 734. If they wick this all the way back down to, let's say, 690, then that is disgusting. Again, I struggle to justify a short because obviously we're breaking out. We have buyers. VX and VIX did push lower. There's our next nice 734 bounce. ES is breaking through ORB resistance. We did make a new high a day there too, actually. So this new 5-minute candle could be our push higher. This is tearing at my heartstrings because I see a beautiful short, but I'm really afraid they're going to keep pumping this up.
Order filled.
All right, I went with the short. kind of pump or die here. That 734 is a key level to watch. It was worth the risk of the short, but I do think they're going to push it higher. If the short plays out, it's going to be a big free fall though. So it was worth the risk. I only risked 10 points on it.
Stop fill.
Okay, there we go. So there's a stop out. Oh, looks like they got us. They might have just barely got our stop loss before going lower. I had to play it short because I a tighter stop loss there. And there it goes. Still testing that 734 though, so this is a big bounce or die spot here. Starting to see that massive wick on the 15-minute time frame, which is intriguing to say the least. If this holds 734, I would generally think the next 5-minute candle will take us back to 800 area. If we close under 734, I would think we're heading back to probably 675 area. VX and VIX are pushing lower, so that is bullish. We do have buyers, so that is bullish. We broke out over the EMA, so that's bullish. We broke out over the ORB, that's bullish. So again, a lot more bullishness than bearishness here. Well, we closed directly on ORB there, so not a lot of help there. Long wick on the 15-minute, that did close us back under 736 and also under its 15-minute ORB resistance. So again, not a lot of help. The long wick to the upside is certainly concerning for continuation higher. So here's that 77.5 test. Looks like 734 was the long opportunity. Again, I mean, that's it's tough because, you know, last two candles were rejections and did push lower. We did lose buyers just for a second, but obviously they came back in now. And the long wick on the 15-minute candle is not very, I don't know how to say, confirmation for a long here. So it's tough. This is kind of some tough price action here. It's certainly getting the best of me this morning, so I'm trying to be patient here to see if I can find something better, or good rather, to trade us here. The Bulls are doing a good job of buying this up, though. I mean, like you just see there, we touched 775, and it got a little slap right back down, and it looked like that could be our top, and then boom, buyers come in and just push it right back up. So VX is double bottoming here, so this could potentially be our another rejection. And again, with the long 15-minute candle, you got to be thinking rejection too, but a lot of buyers here right now in 5-minute candle.
Order submitted. Order filled.
All right, we took the short here. Let's see what we get. I mean, based on the 15-minute candle, this has potential to go back to 675. I'll lock a break even in. Just because I'm struggling right now, I'm down. So I'd like to see some continuation lower. But again, I got to protect what I do have in drawdown. So. So breaking 735 again. If this can push lower, we're going to come down and see at least not 700. But again, I think 675 is very plausible here.
Order filled.
I'm going to lock a 10-point break even in. I'm hoping we get more than that, but I'm going to lock it in. I did add a con, as you can see. It allowed me to set a break even at the high of this candle, so I was content with that. All right, so I took 10 points there. Again, it looks a little bouncy here, so just kind of playing it as we play it.
Order filled.
All right, I'm back in a short here.
Stop filled.
Okay, locked in there. Nice win, recovery. Whew. Slowly recovering these accounts. My funded futures, I got one up $70, and then the other four up 170. So technically, I am at the daily 150 limit. Lucid is down about 270-ish, so not quite to my limit there yet. We are slowly recovering these accounts, though. It was obviously, again, it's been a big fight. So it does look like, though, that the 15-minute double top did play out. So that's where, recognizing those long wicks are beneficial. Obviously, you can see, it did play out. We played out the range resistance, the ORB rejection. Now we are sitting on EMA support here. It's a tough one. This is a big bounce area, so this is at 700. And again, I still think 675 is possible. And I still think 589 to 632 is possible. We lost all of our buyers. VX and VIX are bouncing. I do think they could pop this back up to 69.33 maybe first, and maybe 720 first. But this might just keep drilling here. Yeah, it looks like it's drilling. Let's get in on this. My fills today, I feel like, have not been favorable. Okay, closed.
Order filled.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm calling it a day here, folks. That was a tight one. That was a close one. Whew. We came from about 200 of DD left. Now I took about 250 in all of my Lucid accounts. So that's day 4 of 5. If Monday comes and we can just put in $150, we will finally get that 5K payout on those accounts. And then on Mufu, much bigger day just because there was that weird play where they got out at a higher price. They are up about 600 to 700 each, and same thing, day 4 of 5 completed. I just need, again, about $100 over there on Monday, and I will be able to take 5,000 there. So Monday we are set up. If we can just pull out an easy 150 day, we're set up for a 10K payout. So much needed payout. Been a while. December was a rough month for me. But it was one of those months, you know, sometimes I have rough months and I'm like, you know, this really sucked. I'm doing something wrong, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it makes me sit back. It makes me evaluate what I'm doing wrong. Because obviously I was doing something wrong. If I'm losing evals, if I'm not taking funded to pay out, I was doing something wrong. So it was nice, or is nice, to sometimes have those red streaks because it really does make you reevaluate. So, you know, I did some deep diving on, like I was talking about last week, or beginning of this week, into what accounts work the best, what accounts don't work the best, kind of what sort of limits are the best for me. So when I talk about that is like how many evals a day is too many. Are Lightning accounts working? Is Tradeify working? Is My Funded Futures working? Is Lucid working? So, you know, I learned a lot going through my research, my data. That's why I'm a big data person. I always tracked as much possible data as I can on my trading, my fees, my payouts, all that stuff. I keep it in Excel spreadsheets. I know a lot of people like to give me a hard time for tracking stuff in Excel, but because it's not official or whatever, but it really works for me because I can take that data and I can really crunch it. And I really learned a lot. So I think I'm set up for a good spot here going into 2026. Today almost got me. It was a tough morning, I'm not going to lie. I was a little down there for a second, but I'm glad that I got it. Man, what a rejection here, this candle. So there's that 675, and also here's that 632 I was looking for. So, but anyways, I will see you guys Monday. I hope you guys have a good weekend. It doesn't feel like the weekend because we just had a weekend, it feels like. So it's crazy. But anyways, we'll come back refreshed Monday, and we will be ready to hopefully take this to payout. So I'll see you guys later.